Another Virginia-class submarine is christened. I'm Aaron Pritchett, and this is Focus NNS. We're here outside the modular outfitting facility inside the gates of Newport News Shipbuilding, the site of the christening of New Jersey SSN 796, the Navy's newest Virginia-class submarine, and our first large-scale in-person event since the start of the pandemic. We'll take you to this exciting ceremony. Plus, north, south, east, and west, Newport News Shipbuilding is busting at the seams as dry docks and piers are at full capacity, giving shipbuilders plenty of work to be done and opportunities to meet the challenges of shipbuilding head-on. It was a blast from the past, with hundreds of cars and a few gigantic screens to replicate those drive-in movies from yesteryear, but a very unique and safe way to honor some of Newport News Shipbuilding's best of the best. And 2020, and for that matter 2021, have been extremely challenging years for us all. But there are plenty of accomplishments that we can all be proud of. We'll wrap up the year and get ready for 2022. Those stories and more coming up, but first on deck, another step closer to delivery, as shipbuilders in the Virginia-class submarine program have reached yet another major milestone in the life of New Jersey SSN 796, with its official christening here at Newport News Shipbuilding. It's a journey that began back in March of 2019 as the ceremonial keel laying took place to kick off the boat's construction. Ship sponsor Dr. Susan DeMarco traced her initials on the keel plate, and soon after it was officially welded by shipbuilder Jess Patrick.
I hereby declare the keel of the United States Submarine New Jersey 796 truly and fairly laid.
From there, shipbuilders continued around the clock to bring her to life, working closely with our submarine teaming partner Electric Boat in Groton, Connecticut, shipping components back and forth and working meticulously, doing all the necessary work to get her to the monumental stage of pressure hull complete.
A lot of things have transpired since we laid the keel in New Jersey, We've had a pandemic, and a lot of times we depend on people to be to work and they can't come because of what's going on. But we managed to go through it, and that's what we were here to do, make it happen.
It may not look like much, but there's a lot going on. Pressure hull complete symbolizes the submarine coming together from a module stage to a boat completion, and that allows us to transition from an outfitting stage into a testing stage. That right there is a major milestone for the team. From that point on, it's just about executing and setting the stage to get into a launch mode.
But before launch, the submarine must be christened. So shipbuilders and outside contractors transformed the site in a matter of days leading up to the big event on November the 13th. And what made it even more special was that this was our first full-scale in-person christening event since the pandemic began back in early 2020.
It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Newport News Shipbuilding and to the christening of the Virginia-class submarine, New Jersey.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. As countless sailors will man the awesome power of this boat, may each and every one of them feel the thanks of a grateful nation as they carry out their mission today and for decades to come. Now I ask to you, dear Lord, that you might protect all those who will serve aboard this boat.
Our sailors' lives depend on the quality of our work, and it is a responsibility that we never take lightly. When New Jersey joins the Navy's fleet, she will deliver firepower for freedom, taking with her the skill of her shipbuilders, the spirit of her sponsor, the courage of her commander and crew, and the pride of her fellow New Jerseyans. These characteristics, united, forged, form a strong national defense that defines America, and that is moving forward.
We are honored that our culture and history is now projected onto this submarine, from the name New Jersey to the Jersey Devil himself. I hope the galley is also properly stocked with Jersey bagels and pizza, and may I suggest a strong soundtrack beginning with the likes of Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi. Nothing wrong with that. It is my fervent hope that all who serve on this submarine enjoy the same success in their missions as those who graced her namesakes. Our entire 9.3 million member family wishes the New Jersey and all her crew Godspeed, and may God continue to bless the great state of New Jersey and the United States of America.
Today is a day of gratitude, especially to the 4,000 men and women whose hard work put New Jersey together. You are the best in the world, but we're only 80% there, and New Jersey needs to be the best submarine ever built. The future USS New Jersey will be a critical, some might say the most critical, arrow in our quiver. She will be that vital in winning that ideological battle to preserve our democracy and our way of life.
It is my great honor to have been selected in 2015 by then Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus to be this ship's sponsor, and here we are. To dream a submarine of this proportion into reality requires imagination and conviction beyond the familiarity of our own lives. To those that built her, shipbuilders, pipe fitters, project managers, structural designers, mechanical engineers, electricians, and yes, even those who operate the food trucks, thank you. Your dedication, your optimism, your innovation led us here. As the sponsor of this ship, I encourage us to remember what we can accomplish when we cooperate and support one another. Let us continue to express appreciation, respect, curiosity, and wonder for one another's ideas. The truth is we need one another now more than ever. And with that, I say fare thee well.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. So without any further ado, let's go christen this Jersey girl.
I christen the United States ship New Jersey. May God bless the submarine and all those who sail her. Here we go.
Wow, what an exciting event. And there's definitely nothing like the sound of that bottle hitting that breaker bar. So you may be wondering what's next. Well, New Jersey SSN 796 will now get ready for its next big test as the James River awaits. Shipbuilders will prepare her for the flooding and launching stage where the boat gets put to the test in the water for the very first time. And it will continue on as it sets its sights on the Atlantic for sea trials later next year. Definitely some exciting times ahead. Now, let's take a look at some other news from around the yard. Filled to the gills, Newport News Shipbuilding is busier than it's been in at least 4 decades, with work underway for 25 U.S. Navy aircraft carriers and submarines currently in the yard. This while facing plenty of challenges and continuing to deal with the pandemic. From fleet support, new construction, and overhaul, it's a 24-hour grind to get these aircraft carriers and submarines to the Navy. And progress is being made. Most notably, both Enterprise CVN 80 and Doris Miller CVN 81 are currently under construction. John F. Kennedy's CVN 79 is now 84% complete. The George Washington CVN 73 in for its refueling and complex overhaul is sprinting to the finish line at 92% complete. And Montana SSN 794 will soon be delivered to the Navy in 2022. Newport News Shipbuilding's foundry recently completed a pour of the first casting for Wisconsin SSBN 827, the nation's second Columbia-class submarine. In addition to the recent SSBN 827 casting, the foundry has started the molding process for other Wisconsin castings, Since restarting ballistic missile submarine construction at NNS for the first time in more than 50 years, shipbuilders in the foundry have poured most of the NNS castings for the lead ship SSBN 826, with all lead ship castings expected to be complete next year. This Wisconsin casting represents the beginning of sequential construction work on the Columbia-class program that will span the next 2 decades. A new process and a more efficient way of doing a pretty big job on USS John C. Stennis CVN 74, as its refueling and complex overhaul continues at Newport News Shipbuilding. Shipbuilders recently used a new propeller nut installation rigging fixture that allows them to safely support the diameter of the nut and eliminate any contact with the threads as the propeller is successfully removed. This process is extremely critical on all 4 propellers, because after they are properly inspected and repaired, reinstallation of the nut onto the shaft requires precise alignment of both the nut threads with shaft threads. We'll continue to keep you up to date on the progress of the refueling and complex overhaul of John C. Stennis CVN 74 as work continues. Newport News Shipbuilding honored 394 recipients of the 2021 Model of Excellence Award during a drive-in ceremony in the Hampton Roads Convention Center parking lot on October 8th. The outdoor event for honorees and their families and friends was held in lieu of a traditional dinner due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Model of Excellence is the company's highest honor and recognizes individuals and teams who have made extraordinary contributions to the achievement of objectives outlined in the NNS Forward Strategy: enable our workforce, transform business operations, execute efficiently, grow the business base, and lead the way. During the event, attendees watched a video featuring all 23 award-winning nominations.
All right, how about another final round of applause and horn hunks for all of our Model of Excellence winners.
Another historical marker makes its mark, as Newport News Shipbuilding joined forces with the city to honor the legacy of an important transportation link, the trolley, that once ran between Hilton Village and downtown Newport News. Charles Southall, Vice President of Columbia-class submarine construction, spoke on behalf of NNS during a recent ceremony to unveil an historical marker at the loop that once served as a turnaround for the trolley. Built in what was then a rural area a few miles north of the Newport News city limits, Hilton Village was created in 1918 to help house shipbuilders and their families during World War I. The war effort led to a hiring boom at the shipyard, leading to a severe housing shortage in Newport News. Hilton Village helped ease the shortage, and during a time when personal vehicles were not yet common for most, trolley service from the Newport News and Hampton Railway Gas and Electric Company provided reliable transportation for shipbuilders to and from the shipyard. In the decades that followed, the trolley was gradually abandoned in favor of modern bus service. By 1950, all tracks had been removed. The old trolley turnaround now serves as a roundabout for vehicles traveling along James River Drive and Villa and Botetourt roads. Words like challenging and unprecedented are often used to describe 2021. But in Newport News Shipbuilding, this year prompted a strength and resolve synonymous with shipbuilders. Despite the year's ever-evolving challenges, our shipbuilding team leaned in to meet our Navy commitments, and we sure do have a lot to be proud of. Always good ships. Work continues on 25 Navy ships, including 14 Virginia-class submarines, 2 Columbia-class submarines, 3 688-class submarines, 4 Ford-class aircraft carriers, and 2 Nimitz-class carriers. Some of this year's highlights include the christening of New Jersey SSN 796 before a crowd of 2,000, our first large-scale in-person event since the pandemic began for the first VCS submarine designed for male and female sailors. And the flooding and launching of Montana SSN 794, which brings the submarine one step closer to sea trials. On the aircraft carrier side of the business, USS Gerald R. Ford successfully completed full shock trials and returned to NNS for a 6-month planned incremental availability. We celebrated the ceremonial first cut of steel for aircraft carrier Doris Miller's CVN 81, and John F. Kennedy's CVN 79 reached 84% completion. USS John C. Stennis CVN 74 arrived in the spring for her refueling and complex overhaul, while similar work on USS George Washington CVN 73 enters the home stretch. Despite the continued hardships brought on by COVID-19, NNS found COVID-safe ways to recognize shipbuilders for everything from earning Model of Excellence awards to apprentice school diplomas. And shipbuilders continue to do their part and open their hearts to give back to the community, one can, one pint, and one seat at a time. A lot to be proud of in 2021, and we all look forward to the hopes, dreams, and successes of 2022. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Focus NNS. Remember, check out our weekly publication Currents for the latest shipyard news, and download our free app, NNS To Go. It's available in the Google and Apple stores on your smartphones and tablets. Keep up to date with all of our latest videos and spectacular photos on all of our social media channels. And don't forget to watch Focus NNS on City TV and cable channels across the great state of Virginia. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Aaron Pritchett.